So when we talk about sights, I think one of the things for me that's always a little bit tricky is actual peep size. Because whenever you look at some of these targets, right, you're like, I want extreme precision, right? I want a smaller peep sight. I want a smaller scope housing. I want everything to line up. And then you go and you're shooting into the dark and you're like, I've got no light. I can't see anything. So you really got to kind of weigh the pros and cons, right? Extreme precision or maybe a little bit larger peep sight, a little bit larger scope housing that allows you to get a little bit more light so that you can see into some of those extreme shots.
Yeah. And that's bringing up a good point is like Hamsky, they have their Insight Peep system. So, I mean, if you're going out west and you're having that possibility, you know, you could get the Insight Peep system and that way you can change your aperture size.
Right.
So if you want to change it on the fly, you know, it's super easy to do. I mean, whether or not you want to bring that with you, you know, that's something you'd have to ask yourself. But this is a great way to be able to test it beforehand. So if you know, okay, well, it's possibility for this, maybe I should go up a peep size.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you options too in the future. Like, cause if you run your hunting setup slightly different than you do, like if you're somebody that's serious about Total Archery Challenge, you have a specific build for it. You can kind of swap that stuff out and play a little bit. So I personally, man, I like a bigger scope housing.
Yeah. Yeah. I do too.
It's just for me, like, I'll give you a prime example. I have a HHA Tetra on my Mach 33, and then I have an HHA Nitrix XV3, their new sight for this year, on a Decree. And the Tetra scope housing that I've got is much smaller than that new XV3 housing. And I run either a 5/32, usually 3/16 peep between those two for everything that I do. I don't do a lot of changing when it comes to scope and peep size. But I noticed that like the 41 style housings are just that little bit bigger, are easier for me to align with my peep consistently. That's one reason I like Spot Hog stuff a lot. I like their MRT rings. It makes aligning it very easy. And that new XV3 scope housing just fits my 5/32 peep at 28.5 inches really, really well. Yeah. And I'm not running a dovetail sight. I'm running all pick mounted stuff, you know, and some guys that are a little bit more, I would say in tune with like torque tuning and stuff. I don't do any of that. I just haven't dove down that rabbit hole. I know Cooper from PSE is really big on that. I run everything. It's all fixed Picatinny mount. So I'm not able to adjust my scope housing in or out to really accommodate my peep sight and alignment better. So that 5/32 tends to work really well for me at 28.5 inches with that little bit bigger scope housing.
Yep, I'm at the same, and so I'm typically 30-inch draw. I've been running everything pretty much pick mount 2 or direct mount. I haven't ran a dovetail sight in a couple of years except for on a bridge lock. Yeah. But yeah, I typically run a 5/32 peep as well, and that still lines up really good for me. And I'm running the dialed sight this year is what I had. And I've got the new 3VA sight from them, or scope.
Yeah, I ran their, did I have the Arcos? On my Mach 30?
You got the Arcos.
Arcos, however you say it. I ran that the previous year on a Mach 30 and really enjoyed it. I think the big thing about Total Archery, like you just don't know weather-wise what you're going to get into and then kind of terrain, like how dark it's going to be based off where you're shooting. Like I like more light. I like bigger scope. I like a little bit bigger peep sight just to have more visibility. And pen brightness too. I think the way some of these scopes are configured, whenever you choose a sight or a scope, if you don't run a sight light, like I don't ever run a sight light. Like personally, I just don't. I like a fiber that's nice and bright. I always run a 19 thousandths in all of my sights because my sights typically get carried over into hunting. I really don't change a lot. This year I might build something specific for TAC. I'm not 100% sure. But I like that 19,000 fiber with that bigger scope housing. It's just easy for me to acquire that pin and that scope housing and line everything up better.
Yeah, I typically don't run a lot of sight lights either. I have on dialed.
Well, their dialed, I think, light system is pretty slick.
It is, yeah. So you can still you can slide it like a rheostat. So if you want to run it without running the light kit, you can just slide that so you can gather more light or take away if you need to. And the nice thing too with their light kit is after 15 minutes, it automatically shuts off too. So it's a really nice system with that. It works really well. Yeah,
they did a good job too, durability wise, I think. And I think majority of your brands nowadays, your high end sights, the durability is there on majority of them, and the functionality that you get with them. I mean, when we're talking about all your premium sights, you know, your dials, your HHAs, your spot hogs, your excels, your UVs.
Yep.